making up some concrete, having tons of fun. So this is the C mix I got. Doing a 3-to-1, 3 of that, 1 of these Portland cements. Running the big mixer, wheelbarrow it over to these forms, which is 8 foot by 8 foot for a shed. So trying to knock it out. That's how it's going. It's going fine. All right, continuing. I'm working on the shed project. So we got the slab poured. It's been curing for, it's over a week. It's more than enough time. I just didn't really have time to deal with this. So this is the Duramax Dura Plus 8x8. Sold quite a few places, Home Depot included. I bought it new, but kind of in a messed up package from someone locally. Cheap. I get these things are like $1,000. I think I paid $300. But I'm starting to realize probably why they never got it set up. So here's the roof panels, more roof panels, roof panels, roof panel, roof panel, some sort of side panel, a whole bunch of wall panels, the doors, some rails, pieces, 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 pieces. There's a lot of pieces to this. So I'm probably not going to be able to knock this out really quick, but I just started with opening up the package and kind of laying the stuff out. So if I'm ready and I'm following the instructions, it calls out a VRA 31. At least I can walk by and see it. A VCB 04, you know. But this is a lot of pieces. Hopefully this thing turns out pretty good. The price was right, but it's gonna take some time. So take a nice look. I made the slab exactly 8 feet by 8 feet, so it should fit this shed perfectly. Be nice to do a nicer wood one, but I'm not gonna put the money into that. There's other things I would spend, but you can see this book is pretty thick. So when I'm a little further along, I'll tell you what I really think about it. To be determined. Well, this is just as much work as I thought it was going to be. So the first thing is just assembling a lot of small pieces. That's these floor pieces, the side pieces, and yeah, they come in two. Like there's a half and a half, and you got to put a lot of screws in them. Mine's going to be a little bit different because I put it on concrete. So that did save me some work. I would have otherwise used a lot of this stuff here, like the VRG20 and the VRB12 and the VRB11. I don't really need those because I'm not doing the cross bracing to put plywood down. So I just built it with the side pieces, skipped the cross pieces. That took a little bit of time. And the 8x8 slab is going to be pretty much perfect. You can see I've been sliding it around a little bit. That'll be right there. That'll be right there. So it's probably just, you know, an inch or so under full 8 feet. So if you do an 8-foot slab, it's gonna be great. Then the next step was putting these channel pieces down. So these are like the VBA03s. These channel pieces get screwed down to the original lower pieces. Then as you start putting together these rails and these rails, it's pretty inefficient. Like, for example, this is 3 pieces for that center ridge. It would have just been so easy if that was 1 piece, but instead you got to do this half and a joiner, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and on the back side you got to do 24 screws to essentially make what could have easily been 1 piece. But you know, obviously they're trying to save space in this box. They don't want the box to be 8 feet long, but if that box was 8 feet long, it would have been, you know, if it was long enough to, let's say, have all these pieces already as one, it'd been a lot less work. So what this looks like right here is about 3 hours for me. Not because I'm slow with putting the screws in, it's just like you got to look for one little piece, and then you're looking at all these numbers and you're looking to find this, you know, little bracket, an RG, a VRG 15, you know, and so just a lot of little individual pieces. But right now, about 3 hours in, and I'm ready to snap the first corner wall piece in. So I looked over the instructions, I don't know, 8 pages in or so, and it looks like from here it may start to get easier. But like, for example, this is a CLB2, and this is supposed to sit down in that channel. Then I'm going to come down here, put a couple screws in there, and then it looks like my next step should be to start putting sidewalls up. So that will probably, I feel like a lot of the work I've done so far looks like very little progress, and it's going to start looking like more progress. But oh, and then one of the things is putting those roof, like I don't know if you'd call that the rake or just the gable. You know, that was the first step of panels that had to go up, and now it's corner piece time. So let me jump on this. So here's the progress after pretty much the day. I put about 8 hours into this. Well, probably almost 8. I'm gonna put 8 in. I'm gonna work on this for another half hour, so maybe a little bit more in the dark. But looks like a pretty nice shed. I wasn't really liking it until like pretty recently. So it seems just like it's never gonna get sturdy until all of a sudden when I put these roof braces up, now it's solid. Before, as you saw, those little things I had kind of propped up on the other side, they were holding up the walls. The wind would blow and the whole wall would try to fall down, so I had to make some temporary braces. I mean, you'd expect that. The walls aren't strong until it's all 4, but really the roof ties it together. So what was really nice is when you put these roof braces up, they tie into a bunch of different places. It ends up actually pretty beefy. So it's grown on me, but it's a little more work than probably they say. So plan on maybe being able to do it in a day by yourself, maybe less than a day if you got 2 people. But if you're not fairly regularly doing stuff like this and pretty handy, this may take you more than a day, even working pretty hard on it. So it's looking good. I'm going to try to get, I believe the next step is to get the roof panels hung. And like I had said, these pieces here were unused because I have none of the floor bracing. So now you can see it's just the perimeter. And they do have some spots where I can actually anchor it down. So I'll probably drill and shoot a couple masonry screws so this is attached to this slab here. But that's where I'm at. Let me see what I could do in the minimal amount of daylight I got left. So here's basically the finished product. The only things I have left are up here where you see these clips, like that one. Those are kind of a pain, but they do have a little gasket on them, but they recommend putting some silicone on each of those. So I've got some nice silicone. I got like the lifetime warranty type, you know, something good because it's going to be out in the sun. So each one of those clips will get kind of like a blob of silicone, and then I'll smooth it out, kind of smear it. But it turned out pretty good. The roof panels were a little bit of a fight just because, you know, I think you just have to have it so square to get those clip holes to line up. But they did line up, just had to wrestle them a little bit. A little critique, you know, if a mouse really wants to get in here, I think they could. You know, that gap's not super impressive. So if you're looking for totally rodent proof, I don't think this will do that. And this handle's kind of cheesy. You just flip this over. It's plastic. It'll probably end up broken after it's brittle in the sun. But the last real step I was going to do, I did this one. I'm just taking a masonry drill, drilling a couple inches into the concrete, and then shooting a tap con in there. And that's just going to, you know, help it so it won't blow away. basically. And I'm not in a hurricane type area, but we get some pretty substantial winds, you know, but that should be more than adequate. They actually give you some bolts with some like Molly anchor, you know, type of bolts where you drill and you put the plastic anchor in and then shoot these, but I'd rather just go with the Tapcon myself. So here's the finished product inside. It's not real beefy where, you know, I could shoot some screws and put a shelf in. If I'm gonna put a shelf, I'd have to think about it. I'd have to land it here in the metal because all this is just flimsy. The roof actually seemed the most sturdy, so I could probably, you know, do some like threaded rod hung down to a shelf. But, you know, I don't know that I'll even bother. I just need to get a few things in here that I don't want to keep in my big garage. So overall satisfied. So I'll get something like this, and I've already got a partial I was doing with another job, so let me show you. So you'll see what I mean. It's just gonna be really simple little job. Right, that's adequate. And like I said, just a quick wipe. Just to make sure we got a nice water seal. Right, something like that, times a whole bunch of them. And one thing I should show you, obviously it's double doors, and it's got these, you know, basic little, I think they call them like barrel latches or something. So those look good. That's my product right there. Not bad for 8x8.